Shalom, Shalom, call halal, Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakah HaKodash, the blindest city apostles and elders of Great Millstone that rule well and that do teach well, have taught me this truth. To you I say Shalom. Shalom to the hopeful elect, Kwame Yashal and Abba Baba. And this is Brother Gabaria Allah coming back at you with another lesson, or update, whatever you want to call it. But Lord willing, this will be edifying. Alright, so this was posted about a day ago, and this is from RT.com, and it says Russia boosting hypersonic missile production. Rostec, Moscow has utilized the Kinzhal missile, believed to be able to penetrate any existing air defenses, in its conflict with Kiev. Alright, so this war has gone hypersonic, which it has been hypersonic for a while now. But now they're boosting production. You know, their production of their missiles and their weaponry has been ramped up. Okay, so they're increasing it, and that's all set up to further escalate this World War III. And I made a video last week showing you that World War III has already begun. You know, we're in the beginning stages of World War III. Alright, and when you begin a war, it's not always as harsh and coarse as it is when you progress later on through the war. Right, so World War III is already here, we're already in it. But later on it's going to escalate, and it's going to be far more detrimental. Alright. So yeah, it's already here, and this just further proves that. Because why are they boosting up hypersonic missile production? For what? It doesn't seem like they're trying to stop the violence. Because if they were, why are they increasing the missiles? So it doesn't make sense. So hey, this is where we're at. We're on the third wall. We're in the beginning part of the third wall, whether you believe it or not. And I'm not making this up. Right? You got the National Security Defense Council coming out and saying this. I'm not making this up. You got high-ranking officials saying this, so I'm not saying it. Okay. All right. So let's read the article. It says Russia's Rostec has ramped up the production of hypersonic Kinzhal Dagger missiles. The defense conglomerate's industrial director, Mekhen Azadov, has revealed. He added that the amount of other types of military hardware and munitions being churned out has also increased dramatically. I wonder why. Because we're in the time of war. We're in the time of war. And that's why munitions are being increased exponentially. Right? And that's why they're being increased. Because we're in a time of war, whether you believe it or not. And a lot of you people, like I said in my previous videos, you don't understand what time you're in. You think it's a time of mirth. You think it's a time to rejoice. You think it's time to party, especially our people. They gotta take their head out of their asses. Okay? You people, I'm talking about you tribes, you Israelites, you need to take your heads out of your big asses, man. Okay? And get involved with these scriptures. But we know through prophecy, 2/3 ain't gonna make it. Okay, 2/3 ain't gonna make it. But you know what? We still have to speak on these things. Because we are the watchmen. Right? And we're trying to save our souls first and foremost. So anyways, it says here on Tuesday, Interfax quoted Azadov as saying that the figures for certain munitions have risen up to 10-fold. See the word tenfold. Tenfold meaning. Tenfold. 10 times as great or as numerous, since you people don't like to look up words, right? They're using this word for a reason, just to show you, you know, it's numerous. It's great. Right? Tenfold. That's a lot, man. Tenfold. Okay? That's a lot. So, it says here, he noted that among other things, the production of missiles for the Kinzhal, Iskander, and Panzer systems, aerial bombs, artillery, and tank shells is being ramped up. And that's true because Russia, they have a big military, and the scriptures talk about that. It talks about that, right? When you go into Ezekiel, the 38th chapter, it talks about how their army is going to be really big, especially in the last days. You know, because the Lord, he said that he's going to put hooks into their jaw, and then he's going to cause them to bring forth their army, right? So let me get it. This is Ezekiel chapter 38. I'm going to start at verse 2, and the point will be made in verse 4. No, I'll start at verse 1, point will be made in verse 4. It says prophecy about Gog and the future invasion of Israel. That's right. They're going to invade you so-called Jews in the last days, and they're going to destroy you. He's going to put the spirit on them to destroy your ass. So it says Ezekiel chapter 38, verse 1. And the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and prophesy against him. That's right, and the Lord is against you, because you're going down too. The Lord's going to take you down when he comes back. I believe going into Daniel, the 2nd chapter, and the stone that was cut out without hands, right? You know, that stone is talking about Yahushua, and he's coming back to take down all these kingdoms. Alright, he's going to take your crown, and he's going to put it on his head. He's going to take you down in these last days, huh? Verse 2, Son of man, set thy face against Gog and the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, prophesy against him, and say, Thus saith the Lord power, behold, I'm against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal. And you are a prince, man. You are a prince of the earth. You know, Russia is a very, very strong country. You know, you have a large population. You're industrialized. You have a lot of resources. You have a strong military, and you have strong leadership, and you're wicked as hell. Just to add that, so you know you're very powerful. You're very prince-like. Nobody wants to mess with the Russian bear. You're very powerful. Verse 4: And I will turn thee back, and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth, and all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. Did you see that? That means they have a big military. And that's why things are being ramped up. It's being ramped up for the last days. It's not just for this war, this battle that they're going through. Russia versus Ukraine. It's for the whole world. It's for World War III. Okay? That's why it's being ramped up. Alright? And production is going to increase even more throughout the years. Right now, we're just in the beginning stages of World War III, and it's going to escalate, and it's going to become full-blown, right? Just because it's not full-blown doesn't mean it's not happening, right? But, you know, a scripture that comes to mind is, our people will be willing in the day of thy power. You know, so simply that just means, you know, when all hell breaks loose, that's when people are going to wake up. Okay? When it comes to your home, and when your house is on fire, then you're going to wake up. Okay, so anyways, actually I want to get another one, because it's going into, it says here, he noted that among other things, the production of missiles for the Kinzhal, Iskander, and Panzer systems, aerial bombs, artillery, and tank shells is being ramped up. So I want to get Revelation 9, going into the horsemen, the army of horsemen, which is the nuclear missiles. You know, and that's a part of that army. You know, that's a part of that army. So this is Revelation chapter 9, verse 15. And the 4 angels which were loose, which were prepared for an hour, and a day, and a month, and a year, for to slay the third part of men. What's the third part of men? It's talking about Esau, Edom, and his system, starting with NATO and the EU, and that beast system that they're going to bring forth. Right? And they're going to be destroyed by that destroying wind. And what is the 4 angels? The 4 angels goes back to Revelation the 7th chapter. The 4 angels that were holding back the 4 winds, which is the destruction. Now the Lord put the Spirit on them to not hold back the 4 winds. Now it's going to be full-blown destruction. Right? All these other nations are going to shoot their missiles off at each other. It's going to happen. Verse 16, and the number of the army of the horsemen were 200,000, and I heard the number of them. So 200,000, that's a big number. You know what that means? 200 million missiles. 200,000, 200 million. That's what that equals to. 200 million. So it's in the spirit. That's why they're ramping things up. It's not just for this war. Okay? Remember, the Lord is a man of war. It's not for this war. It's for World War III. Okay? It doesn't just begin and end with Ukraine. That's not what it's going into when you go into the scripture, okay? So this is just the beginning. But I'm just trying to show you that that arsenal is being prepared in the spirit, and the Lord is setting that up. Alright, so anyways, it says here, verse 17, and thus I saw the horses in the vision, and them that sat on them having breastplates of fire and of jacinth and brimstone, and the heads of the horses were as the heads of lions, and out of their mouths issued fire and smoke and brimstone. That's right, WMDs, weapons of mass destruction, because that's what it's going to bring, smoke and brimstone and fire. Right? By these three was the third part of men killed by the fire. That's right, and it's going to kill the third part of men. And by the smoke and by the brimstone which issue out of their mouths. For their power is in their mouths. Talking about the warhead. Right, there's a term called tip of spear, because that's where the most power is. The tip of the spear, that's where it kills you. That's where it pierces you. Same as the missile. Their power is at the tip, because that's where the warhead rests. So when that missile flies up into the sky and it hits a certain trajectory, certain altitude, that's when it's going to let out them warheads, and they're going to drop and they're going to hit its designated targets. Okay? And in their tails, for their tails were like unto serpents and had heads, and with them they do hurt. Yeah, they do hurt. And it's talking about a rocket. Okay, because that's what propels the missile. It's a rocket. And hey man, you can just go Google the inside of a rocket. I said this in my previous video. It's very meticulous. It's very advanced, and they do call it rocket science for a reason. Right? So anyway, I'm just adding that. So anyways, that's all I want from here. So let's go back. It says, according to Ozdev, Russian defense manufacturers are making more and more tanks, armored vehicles, and multiple launch rocket systems. The director added that there are also plans to increase the production of military drones, with work ongoing on the development of guided artillery munitions. Back in July, Rostec deputy CEO Vladimir Artyakov said that the state-owned company had moved to serial production in earnest of Kinzhal missiles, which had previously been limited by a need to fully complete the research and development. So whatever the defense ministry asks of us, we do that with quality and deliver the quantities it requires, Artyakov said at that time. That's right. And they have scientists working around the clock to make these missiles, producing them, pushing them out of those factories, man, and those labs. Now I got a precept. This is Isaiah chapter 54 verse 16. Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals. And the smith, that's an old English word. It's for a blacksmith, an artificer, somebody who makes weapons, right? So when you watch some old medieval movies, or you can look it up through history, just type in medieval blacksmith or ancient blacksmith. What they do is they create weapons. And how do they create weapons? They put it under intense heat, and then they bang it out with a hammer. That's how they make swords. And then they dip it in water. That's your modern day scientists, because they actually split the atom. Right? They split the atom. They know how to put they know how to condense all that energy into a little ball, and then they can put it into a missile. They figured out how to do that. So they're the modern day smiths. that bloweth the coals in the fire, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work. And I have created the waster to destroy. That's right, and this was created for destruction. The WMDs, weapons of mass destruction, wasted. They're wasters. They're going to waste everybody. Put you to death. Alright? That's why it said 200 million or 200,000, or 200,000, which is 200 million missiles. That's a lot of death. That can destroy a whole continent. Okay? That's going to destroy America. And these are different countries. Right? So he put the spirit on these scientists to bring forth that work. And also you can go into the history of the Manhattan Project and also Project Paperclip. You know, I've done videos on those. Other brothers have done videos. Our elders have done videos on those. I don't think I have to go into detail again. You can go look it up yourself, right? Go educate yourself. But the Lord put the spirit on them to create these weapons of mass destruction for a reason, and that's for the third woe and for the last day, for these last days. Okay, so let's go back here. It says here, where did I leave off at? Okay, so the Kinza has been in service with the Russian military since 2017. The missile can travel at a speed of up to Mach 12, around 14,800 kilometers per hour. Wow, that's super fast, man. Breaking sound barriers and stuff like that. That's serious. Mach 12. God damn. And that brings to mind a precept. This is 2nd Ezra chapter 16, verse 13. And let's start here. For strong is his right hand that bendeth the bow. His arrows that he shooteth are sharp, and shall not miss when they begin to be shot into the ends of the world. Now, can you really do that with like an ordinary bow and arrow or a crossbow? You can't do that. You know, you can't shoot a crossbow or a bow and arrow from one end to the earth. You can't do that. So it's talking about nuclear destruction. It's talking about an ICBM, a hypersonic missile, a missile that's propelled by a rocket that has computers guiding it. That's what it means. It shall not miss, because it hits a certain trajectory. When it hits that certain altitude, that's when them warheads come out, and then that's when they're going to hit their target. When they begin to be shot into the ends of the world, behold, the plagues are sent, and shall not return again until they come upon earth. Well, part of those plagues is thermonuclear destruction, fire. The fire is kindled and shall not be put out till it consume the foundation of the earth. That's right. So, you know, when these missiles are shot off and when it hits its target, that's when fire, wherever it hits, that place is going to be engulfed with flames. And you can't put it out. You can't bring your little fire truck, right? You can't get a fire extinguisher and blow it out. That thing's gonna burn continuously. It's gonna burn till everything is consumed. Verse 16, like as an arrow which is shot of a mighty archer returneth not backward, even so the plagues that shall be sent upon earth shall not return again. That's right. And there's protocols for shooting off these weapons. You need 2 people or 2 high-ranking officials to shoot off these arrows. They have to turn the key simultaneously for that missile to be shot off. And once it goes off, there's no returning that missile back. Okay? You know, it's a good movie. Watch GoldenEye, man. Well, yeah, that's an okay movie. It's going into space weapons, laser weapons. But you understand what I mean. Because there's weapons that are very destructive. You need protocols, and you need certain officials to be authorized to shoot those things off. But anyways, there's other videos you can or movies to get a better idea. But that's just what comes to mind. Anyways, it says, even so the plagues that shall be met upon earth shall not return again. Woe is me, who will deliver me in those days? I don't know. The only person that can deliver you is Yahweh Bashem Yoshai. When he beams you up into those shits and brings you into his chambers, man. But yeah, woe is me, woe is me. Yeah, and you know what woe means? Destruction. Destruction. Death. Because that's what it's going to bring. Death. You may not believe it now, but it's going to happen, man. We're seeing it. So it says, while constantly performing evasive maneuvers, which is believed to allow it to penetrate any existing air defenses, Russia has made use of Kinzhals on a number of occasions during its conflict with Ukraine. Kiev has claimed that U.S.-supplied Patriot batteries are capable of intercepting Russian hypersonic missiles and have done so more than once. The Russian Defense Ministry, in turn, has said that the number of intercepts alleged by Ukraine is higher than the number of such missiles actually fired by Moscow's forces during the conflict. So what is it? Is it propaganda? But whatever, man. It doesn't matter what you say now. Because at the end of the day, the Spirit of the Lord is going to be on the missiles to hit its target. To hit its designated targets. Right? Matter of fact, let's get Joel, right? Going into the missiles, going into the destruction, on how they're not going to break their ranks. Right? They're not going to break formation. When they're fired off, they're going to hit their designated targets, man. There ain't going to be no broken arrows. That's a term in the military. Let me get that. Broken arrow. Broken arrow. Military. Okay, broken arrow refers to an accidental event that involves nuclear weapons, warheads, or components that does not create a risk of a nuclear war. These include accidental or unexplained nuclear explosions, non-nuclear detonation, or burning of a nuclear weapon. So, they're not going to break formation and fall out the sky and then drop in the middle of the desert. That's not what's going to happen. All the missiles are going to hit their targets. Okay, and that's because the Spirit of the Lord is on them. So this is what that's going into. This is what I'm talking about. This is what the scripture's talking about. No broken arrows. So this is Joel chapter 2, verse 7. They shall run like mighty men. They shall climb the wall like men of war. And they shall march every one on his ways, and they shall not break their ranks. Neither shall one thrust another. They shall walk every one in his path. And when they fall upon the sword, they shall not be wounded. They shall run to and fro in the city. They shall run upon the wall. They shall climb up upon the houses. They shall enter in at the windows like a thief. Right? Funny thing, it says thief because the Lord cometh back like a thief in the night. Briefly paraphrasing. Right? I believe that's in, I think it's 1st or 2nd Thessalonians, the 5th chapter, I believe. Lord comes like a thief in the night. That's when your destruction is going to come. The earth shall quake before them, the heavens shall tremble, the sun and the moon shall be dark, and the stars shall withdraw their shining. Okay, so yeah, that's going into nuclear destruction. Right? Nuclear destruction. That's these missiles. Right? The horsemen, or the horses, and as horsemen. When you go into Joel, when you read up a little bit more in the 4th chapter, it explains it a little. The appearance of them is as the appearance of horses, and as horsemen, so shall they run. That's right, and that's what we read earlier in Revelation 9, right? Right. And the number of the army of horsemen were 200,000, and I heard the number of them. That's what it's going into. So it's the same thing. ICBMs, hypersonic missiles. And guess what? They're not going to break their ranks. So here we go. Hebrews chapter 1, verse 7. And of the angels he saith, who maketh his angels spirits, and his ministers a flame of fire. That's right. So the angels are going to be on the missiles because they're ministers of flame of fire. They're set up to burn things. Right? So there's a spirit behind this. There's going to be a spirit behind this destruction. When you see them missiles being shot off in the sky, man, in that day, there's a spirit behind that. It's the spirit of Yahweh Bashem Yoshai. And it ain't the devil. It's the spirit of Yahweh Bashem Yoshai. Because his angels are behind it. And that's right. Angels kill too. And they don't give a damn. They don't give a damn. They're like sentinels. They just do what the Lord tells them to do. And they're going to do a lot of killing in that day. And rightfully so, because this earth is very wicked. Starting with the people that live on it. Especially you tribes. Very wicked. And then you have the wicked Esau, Edom ruling the earth. So they got to go. They got to go. Right? So, yeah, man. That's all that I got for today. I hope this was edifying. Till next time, I just want to give all praises, glory, and honor due unto Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakah HaKodash, and double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone GMS. To you I say Shalom. Shalom to the hopeful elect.